That was great. I'm going to try to summarize a few things as well. I guess just overarching themes. Well, first of all, CPA Canada is actually involved in research in virtually all of the areas that were discussed today, and it's fascinating for me to hear the kind of work that is going on. I think it's terrific, the work that's being done across the academic community in Canada, but also into the US and internationally. And I was certainly delighted to see the number of references, unsolicited references, to a number of CPA Canada documents, thought leadership and guidance work that we're doing. And we're delighted to be part of the PAC and the work that Len's doing here. I think from an overarching point of view, when you think about CPA, the Chartered Professional Accountant, something that I wasn't as clear on today that I want to challenge everybody on is the reality that the CPA is a business and accounting designation. Subtle but important shift in terms of what the CPA is about. Interestingly today, I kept hearing something that I hear very frequently, is the concept of the accountant and auditor almost synonymously being used. And the reality is that it may be true that almost every auditor is an accountant, but I can guarantee you that not every accountant is an auditor. And so certainly I'd like to see an enhanced amount of research that focuses on what is that role of that professional accountant within the business in terms of their role in value creation, enabling value, not just the value reporting, because a lot of today was about reporting, and it's an important area for the profession, obviously, and we don't want to lose that, but it is also, it's a much broader role. In fact, the role of the CPA is very broad and is evolving. There are many disruptors coming at us. There are many challenges coming at the profession. We heard earlier this morning about technology, artificial intelligence. We talk about the reporting, the traditional reporting model, financial statements, and there were questions raised today about its relevance and the need for non-GAAP measures to fill the gap. And those are all really important questions for our profession, and I love the kinds of conversations that were going on today, the comparability of non-GAAP measures, the importance of really looking at these things, because I can tell you, I moderated a panel session at the annual conference of the Canadian Investor Relations Institute earlier on this year, where the regulators were there and the CFAs were there, and the reality is that these non-GAAP measures are being looked at. They're being created by companies, investors are looking at them, and they're looking at them for purposes of making decisions. And that really brings me back to the fundamentals of, I guess, the reporting side of things, is why do we report? And a number of speakers today talked about that a little bit, alluded to it. It's to tell the story. It's to communicate about what's going on in the organization and hopefully help others, be it investors, employees, and a wide variety of stakeholders, make decisions about those organizations. And I think therein lies another interesting opportunity for us, is that role of the professional accountant in terms of value creation, and considering stakeholders that go beyond just the investor. Stakeholders, in fact, like employees, who are going to make decisions about what companies to work for ultimately based on what's happening in that organization. So there are a variety of elements to this that I'm really excited that it sounds like there's going to be potential research on. And the final piece I want to talk about is, and Stacey Nagel referred to this, but it was also, I think, referenced by a number of other speakers. Brian, I think you talked about it as well, this concept of change and continuous change. There's a lot of change. It's an era of massive change, massive and frequent change. And the reality is, it's funny, we undertook a project just after unification on the drivers of change in hopes that we might come up with a nice package of things that the CPA profession can do to help manage all of this change. And the reality is the kinds of change we've seen over the last 10 years is going to be different over the coming 10 years. And I think the new normal, the new state of play is that change is here, and it's here to stay. And the reality is how are organizations going to deal with change? And a lot of the work that we're doing at CPA Canada around the future of the profession deals with the role of professional accountants in change. And not just reporting on what has happened, but in fact driving that change, driving successful change. And I believe there's no one better positioned than the professional accountant to help organizations successfully embrace this changing world and help those organizations succeed in the future. So I really hope to see, as time goes by, an increasing amount of research that looks at that forward-looking, forward perspective. As much as the historical is part of our history and foundation as professional accountants, the future in terms of managing going forward is going to be core to our long-term success. And so I think we have great opportunities for research in that space, and that ties to even the governance space, which there was an excellent conversation on this morning. So that's really brief, really high level, and a very quick commentary on some of the things that I look forward to and hopefully see in terms of research going forward. And I will continue to work with Len and trying to influence what the PAC will be able to do in some of this space as well. So hope that helps. Thank you.